Lawmakers in Cyprus overwhelmingly reject an unprecedented levy on private bank accounts, effectively scuttling a controversial EU bailout agreement. The parliament speaker had urged members to say no to what he called blackmail. Richard Quest joins us now from London. They won't be nipping into those bank accounts at the same time. Cypriots aren't going to be tucking into a big fat bailout either. What happens next?
Well, now the cat's really amongst the pigeons, because what happens is you're back to square one. So the Cypriot government is going to have to get back with the Troika, that's the European Central Bank, the IMF and the European Commission, and come up with a new bailout plan. And we know already some of the parameters that have to be met for it to be acceptable to the European the authorities side. It has to raise money. They will not, basically, the Europeans have said they will not do an all-out, everything in bailout. Cyprus itself has to contribute something to it. That's why there was the deposit insurance, the deposit levy in the first place, Jim. But how Cyprus is going to raise $5 billion, because some suggest it could be on the higher depositors, those Russian oligarchs. But that's just only one possibility. Other ways, they could mortgage their future natural gas reserves and income from that. Again, a possibility. There are lots of possibilities, but tonight, the only certainty is that if they don't do something, then Cyprus banks will go belly up.
The Cypriots got themselves into this mess by trying to bail out somebody else, their brethren across the waters in Greece.
Well, in a manner of speaking, yes. It was only after the Greek bailout and the Greek sort of bondholders defaulted and had to take their own haircut that Cyprus became, if you like, partisan and became part of the bigger problem. But Cyprus has been in great financial difficulty for some time. The huge amount of assets and bank industry in the island, the vast credit lending that's taken place, the amount of Russian money, some of it believed to be dodgy at best, have all put this cloud over a financial sector. So now Cyprus has to go back to square one. But here's the important thing to remember about it all. It is not an option to do nothing. If the banks go belly up, it risks taking Cyprus with it, and if Cyprus goes, then it goes out of the euro, and frankly, the whole political project goes up in smoke. So now, it really is a case, Jim, of saying to Mrs. Merkel, this is your mess as much as ours. Finland, France, Germany, Mario Draghi at the ECB. The Cyprus boat may be sinking, but I assure you, your passengers on board too.
Well, as we look at those passengers on board, what is going to be the fallout around the EU if Cypriots themselves, and it appears they're inclined to do this, simply say no?
They won't. Eventually, this whole fiasco, farrago, whatever you want to call it, was all because of the bank deposit levy on small depositors. They probably have got away with it. They might not have raised as much money, and they might have had to do something else as well. But they probably would have managed to do it if they'd gone up to, say, 100,000 plus. Ultimately, it's the small depositors that caused this plan to fail. And that's why they're going to have to go back to square one.